Hello everybody, this is Noah Davidson here just to give you a quick overview of your homework assignment. As promised, here it is. I want to walk you through. It's pretty simple. It's about an 8-page PDF file. I want you to click on, and first thing I want you to do is just go through and identify 3 to 5 examples of a stock in an uptrend on a daily chart and an uptrend on a weekly chart. So go in and you can pick the stocks at random. I don't really care what stocks you pick. I would suggest you make sure they're over $10 a share at a minimum. And then as far as how expensive they get, that's up to you. I'd probably keep them under 200 bucks, maybe even $100 max. And then I would go in and look at the daily chart and the weekly chart and identify the trends and try to identify again uh, 3 to 5 solid candidates in a daily chart uptrend, a weekly chart uptrend, daily chart downtrend, weekly chart downtrend. And I want you to also find and identify neutral stocks that are sideways on the daily chart and also on the weekly chart. And it could be the same stock. It could be for example, Facebook is in an uptrend on both the daily and the weekly chart. That would be an example for you. You can in fact use that as part of your homework. So now, down below page 2, there's a bullish chart exercise. And what I want you to do is open up the chart and again look for about 3 to 5 years of data at a minimum. And I want you to get in and look at 10 different stocks. And you can actually run scans and filters if you'd like to, but make sure you look for a minimum price of $10. Again, average volume greater than 1 million. Make sure that it's optionable, that the stock has options, and that it's short sellable. And then, a little bit later on, I got a link that'll get you started using FinViz with those default filters in there. And then I want you to identify 3 chart patterns on 3 different stocks. Anywhere on the chart, doesn't matter. I want you to identify a cup and handle, an ascending triangle, a bullish retracement, and a double bottom. And then feel free to do the extra credit homework and see if you can identify any other chart patterns. We're talking about chart patterns, not candle patterns. Chart patterns like the ascending triangle and the bullish retracement. Then I want you to find them on a weekly time frame. So you can find the same patterns on a weekly chart, cup and handle, ascending triangle, and just write down the ticker symbol and the dates of the patterns. You could say, I found a cup and handle on Lululemon right now, and the dates are this month, today's dates. So write down the ticker symbol and the dates. And again, just print this off and do it by hand. And then for the bearish chart exercise, same thing. Do the inverted cup and handle, descending triangle. Look for stocks that have a bearish retracement or a double top and M pattern, and any of the patterns, and just write down the symbols and identify approximately when that occurred. So I just go grab a chart pattern, for example, and I could say, okay, here's Apple, and Apple has, I can identify patterns right here. I've got an M for murder up at the top here. I've got a big double bottom or triple bottom on the bottom, big W patterns on the bottom. That's actually a multi-point bottom. So 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruple bottom. So you could write that down as an extra pattern. And it currently happens to have a bullish retracement where it ran up really strong and it retraced back down. And we're looking for the old support zone to become a new old resistance to become new support. And then we could drop that out to a weekly time frame and just look at it from that perspective. And again, find this, similar patterns. Here is a W back here, W double bottom on the chart, and you can say there is a bullish retracement. There's actually several of them on the chart where ran up, retraced down, and you can just look for those particular patterns. You might have to look for a handful of different stocks to find each of the patterns in question. You can also scan for them. I also want to see you write down what the current technical conditions are. So after you've identified the existing chart patterns anywhere in the chart, I want you to look at the hard right edge of the chart. And on the hard right edge, I want you looking at what's going on. So for example, here's Tiffany, and on the hard right edge of the chart here on this weekly time frame, it's in a bearish retracement. It's run down, it's rallied up, and this is what it's doing right now. It's got a bearish retracement on that weekly time frame, and I actually set that up for one of the example trades for you to look at. You can kind of see here that it's in a support resistance zone on the daily chart, and it's had a nice little run up, and it's got some inside candlesticks in here, and we'll work on planning and structuring the trade around those. But again, take time to write down the conditions on the hard right edge of the chart, and I want you to identify, what are the trends on the daily chart, on the weekly chart. Is there a pattern you recognize? For example, on the Lululemon I mentioned, there's a cup and handle right now. So it's got an existing cup and handle on the hard right edge of the chart where it's knocking on that door. So that's one example that I gave you. Then, again, for both bullish and bearish. And then I want you to do a scanning exercise using FinViz. It's a little third-party website that has some good scanning software. If you click on this link right here, it'll automatically have the price, minimum price, the maximum, or the average daily volume, and the optionable and shortable. So you can click on that and it'll open up their web browser, and it will open up with the default filters already set up. So you can then just go from here and you could actually go, run a scan, and you could say, well, please find me all of the ascending triangles. And I'm not sure if we have any right now, but we'll see what we can find. So we got one candidate popped up on EDU, and that could be one of the candidates you find. Now that's one way to go about finding the patterns, and you can run different scans. It could be running scans for channel up, channel down. I've given you some examples of which scans to run to help you with that. And you can again come in and find existing candidates. And you might have to look at 50 to 100 stocks by the time you find all the answers for your homework. But that's okay. It's part of the purpose of this is to get you in front of your charts doing that. And I want you to run scans for both bullish and bear. I want you to run scans for channel up, ascending triangle, double bottoms, and trend line support. And if you don't find any candidates, that's okay. You could pick another scan. I've left a couple spaces here for you to run what other scans you're interested in. You could go run a channel down scan, for example. So we'll go run stocks that are in a channel down. We'll get a bunch of candidates here. Then it's my job to go in and pick out the one I like the best. And so we can go in and start looking at those and see the charts. And you can say, yep, that's definitely in the down channel. And I can come back and I can look at really any of these candidates. That's a good looking candidate right there. It's optionable, short sellable, it's in a downtrend, it's already confirming down, so on and so forth. So that could be a good example of one of your trades. And then using that scanning tool, I just want you to jot down, the name of the ticker symbol that you found for that particular pattern. And again, I encourage you to explore. And then last but not least, I want you getting in and placing the orders. This is going to be the hardest part of the homework for you. If you're new, and that's okay to struggle through it. It's important that you go in and just do your best. And so I've given you an example of, I want you to look at 3 bullish trades, 3 bearish trades at a minimum. And I've got an example here on Apple, and I wrote down Lulu. You guys can choose your own. But pick it and narrow down to at least 3, and I'd prefer 3 to 5 candidates where you plan and place the trade, where you determine your entry price. And we're going to use this little PREP acronym. This is part of the course. PREP stands for price trigger. That's the price you're going to get in at. You're at call to action. A realistic target, price, realistic place where the price could go. An exit stop loss, and a position size. So I've got the example of Apple in here with the price trigger, the buy stop limit, the target price, the sell limit at 107, the sell stop market, the exit strategy at 99.97 and 100 shares, and that gives me a 2-to-1 reward to risk ratio. So this is just a manual process. Just do this by hand. It's okay to do rough math estimates. And I got an example there on Tiffany as well. So if you were planning a trade right now and you were looking to do trade number 1, you were going to use Lulu as the example. Well, Lulu happens to have the ascending cup and has a cup and handle pattern. Now that's not a scan specifically in FinViz, but I happen to find the cup and handle on that. And so if I'm looking at, what's my trigger, my stop, my target, you get to go in and determine your price. And you go in and, I could say, okay, I'm going to buy as soon as it breaks resistance. So at, 63.60, 63.70, I'm a buyer above resistance. And then I'll put a stop loss maybe down below this pivot right here. And or I'll trail a stop loss with a 1 ATR trailing stop, something like that. In this case, I think a reasonable target would be 70. I expect that stock to run to 70. And that's based off of, the fact that it can easily run that much. In the past, it's certainly had no problem running, You know, like the depth of that, the cup and handle right there. That little ballpark right there would be a very reasonable point to place your target. So you can see, can it run that much in the past? Absolutely. So is it reasonable for a realistic target to say a shoot for 70 or even 71? Absolutely. So you can pick your target, realistic target, and then just the goal is to get 2-to-1 reward to risk ratios. Only risk $1 if you can make two. On average, 1.5-to-1 ratios are okay, but that's what we want to see you doing. And do bull candidate, do bear candidate, and then I put in the example of the order tickets for you for the Apple trade, where it's got the actual price and the order types, so you can try to duplicate those tickets. And it's okay to make mistakes, because if you make mistakes doing these trades, you will learn through the process, and we will see you all in class this week. Thanks, guys. Actually, just realized here, I wanted to show you the order tickets, and then last but not least, you got some video links down here, so you can come in and you can start clicking on the video links. For example, you can go in and watch, a long stock order entry right here, and you can come in and watch the video, and it'll open that up, and it'll play the little video for you, so that you can, again, learn a little bit of the processes here and there, and get into doing that. So you got videos to walk you through each of
Matt
those
Justin's here from
processes.
Capital Trading 2i.
There you go. That's the example. So have fun. If you have questions, let me know. Feel free to email me.